a height level valve do in the picture behind me? So on rear air spring suspensions, the height air level valve is like an autopilot right for your height. So it senses where the axle sits in relative to the chassis and adds air or removes air via an exhaust to adjust the height depending on bumps, load, things like that. So it has three positions. It has neutral. So this is just your standard ride height. Generally, there's what they call a little dampening setting. Going over continuous bumps, as long as they're small continuous bumps, it doesn't adjust the height up and down. Then it has a raise level. So obviously when you put load on the back, the chassis drops, the linkage drops down, then it raises the air back up to the linkage level and then shuts off all its ports. It then also has a lower, so as you take the weight off, the arm will raise and then it'll port air out the exhaust and then drops the chassis level again. Alright, if you think you are having problems with your ride height settings, what we do is you park on level ground, you chock the wheels and you put the brakes on. The air system, build it up to normal pressure, and then you measure from the frame to the axle or the center bolt to the frame as per the suspension specs. You loosen the linkage clamp and you rotate the arm to achieve the spec height. So this is something that we would do if a valve has been installed but no one matched it to the old settings. So generally what happens if someone replaces an air valve, if it's not filling all the way, it's not exhausting all the way, the linkage is bent or loose, or as I said, someone has changed it out but they haven't measured the correct distance, generally we would have to park the truck on flat ground, measure it and make sure that it matches the specs. If you look at your truck when it is unloaded and loaded and you believe it looks a bit wonky or one side of your air suspension is going up and the other side isn't, basically what you do is a quick visual inspection. You check all the linkage angles, make sure that they look the same. So as you look across the back of the truck, you'd see if one link is up and one link is down, or if they're both the same level. You'd do a soapy water test, so you grab yourself a bottle of soapy water and you'd spray the exhaust valves, make sure that there's no little air bubbles coming out of that. Then you also give it a manual test, so you can disconnect it and then lift the valve up and down and see if it raises and lowers the air. If it doesn't do that, then you know you've got a faulty valve. Generally on trucks, if we're going to replace one, we replace the other side. That way we know both valves are replaced at the same time and they're both doing the same job, because obviously over time they lose a lot of their holding power for their exhausting and holding onto the air.